Are you feeling lost and overwhelmed? Has life dealt you a blow that's left you reeling? But before we get started, subscribe, like, share, and turn notifications on to know when Motivate and Inspire publish more videos. Now back to The Struggle is Real. Friends, we all have moments, days, even seasons when life seems to throw its worst at us. Times when we feel like we're in the eye of a hurricane, with chaos and uncertainty swirling all around. It's in these moments that we can feel lost, overwhelmed, and even hopeless. Perhaps you've recently lost your job, a role that not only provided a paycheck, but also a sense of purpose and identity. You're left wondering, what now? The question echoes in the empty space that your job once filled, and uncertainty seems to be the only certain thing. Or maybe you're facing financial instability, where the dollars just don't stretch far enough. The bills keep coming, each one a reminder of the struggle. You're cutting corners, making sacrifices, but it never seems to be enough. The weight of financial stress is heavy, and it's hard to see a way out. And then, there are those among us who have experienced the profound loss of a loved one. That's a pain that cuts deep, leaving a void that nothing seems to fill. The world keeps turning, life goes on, but for you it feels like time has stopped. But here's the thing, folks. No matter the struggle, no matter the pain, I want you to remember this. You are not alone. There are others who have walked in your shoes, who have faced these same storms and come out the other side. And yes, the struggle is real. It's hard and it's painful, but it's also temporary. Every storm, no matter how fierce, eventually runs out of rain. The clouds part, the sun shines again. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it will happen. So if you're in that storm right now, hold on, don't lose hope. Reach out, share your struggle. There are people who want to help, who can help. You're not alone in this. Remember, every storm runs out of rain. Consider John, a man who found himself in a similar predicament. John was your everyday, hard-working individual. He was the epitome of the phrase, living the dream, with an admirable job, a comfortable lifestyle, and a loving family. But life, as we know, is unpredictable. John's world was turned upside down when he was laid off from his job. The financial stability he had worked so hard to achieve was slipping away from his grasp like sand through fingers. As John grappled with the shock of losing his job, he was hit with another blow. The death of his parent. It was like a cruel twist of fate, the kind you only hear about in tragic novels. The sorrow was so profound it was like a dark cloud had descended upon him, casting its gloomy shadow over his entire existence. The loss of his job and his parent left John in a state of despair. He was drowning in a sea of hopelessness, unable to see a way out. The once vibrant and lively man was now a ghost of his former self. His dreams seemed to crumble, his aspirations seemed to fade away. He felt isolated, like he was trapped in a deep, dark abyss, with no way out. Financial stress and emotional turmoil took a toll on him. He found himself sinking into a pit of depression, feeling lost and overwhelmed. His mind was a tumultuous whirlwind of negative thoughts and emotions. He felt as though he was standing at the edge of a precipice, staring into the unknown with nothing but darkness ahead. However, John's story doesn't end here. It wasn't all doom and gloom. While he was in this dark place, he realized that he needed to take action. He couldn't let his circumstances define him or dictate his future. He was determined to find a way out of this abyss, to reclaim his life and his happiness. But this wasn't the end of John's story, not by a long shot. In the midst of his darkest hour, John found a glimmer of hope. It wasn't in the form of a job offer or an unexpected inheritance, nor was it a winning lottery ticket. The hope John discovered was far more profound and enduring. It was a spiritual awakening, a turning point that would change the course of his life forever. As the weight of his losses bore down on him, John felt a pull towards something greater, a sense of comfort, of guidance, a beacon of light in the overwhelming darkness. He found solace in his faith, turning to Jesus Christ in his time of need. In his quiet moments, he'd seek the wisdom of the scriptures, poring over the words that spoke of strength in adversity, of hope in despair. John found that faith wasn't just about belief, but about action, about living the teachings of Christ in his everyday life. He began to see his trials not as punishments, but as opportunities for growth, for transformation. His faith became his refuge, his source of strength and resilience in the face of adversity. His faith was also his compass, guiding him towards a path of healing. It reminded him to be kind to himself, to forgive himself for his perceived failures. It encouraged him to reach out to others, to share his story, his pain, his hopes. he found that in opening up, he wasn't alone. There were others who were also struggling, also seeking, also healing. And in that sharing, in that connection, John discovered a sense of purpose. He realized that his experiences, his trials, could serve to inspire and uplift others. His story could be a beacon of hope for those navigating their own storms. John's faith didn't magically erase his problems, but it gave him the strength to face them, the hope to overcome them. It taught him that even in the darkest times, there is always a glimmer of light, always a path forward. John discovered that faith could be his anchor in the storm. His turning point wasn't merely about surviving, but about thriving, about finding joy and purpose in the midst of challenges. And that's a lesson we can all learn from. John knew, however, that faith alone might not be enough. That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's a vital one. It's a recognition that sometimes we need a little extra help to navigate the stormy seas of life. John, like many of us, had always been a do-it-yourself kind of guy, but he realized that dealing with depression was a different beast altogether. This wasn't a leaky faucet that could be fixed with a couple of turns of a wrench. This was a deep, dark hole that seemed to have no bottom, and that's when he knew he needed to reach out for professional help. Seeking professional help isn't a sign of weakness, far from it. It's a testament to one's strength, a proclamation that you're willing to face your demons, not alone, but with the guidance of someone who's trained to help. You see, therapists and counselors are like navigators in the foggy journey of mental health. They're equipped with the tools and knowledge to help us find our way, even when the path seems obscured. John started therapy, and it wasn't a walk in the park. There were moments of discomfort, moments when he had to confront parts of himself that he'd rather keep hidden away. But the beauty of therapy is that it's a safe space, a place where you can bare your soul without fear of judgment. Through therapy, John learned invaluable coping strategies. He learned to recognize trigger points and how to respond to them. He learned that it's okay to feel sad, to grieve, to hurt. Most importantly, he learned that it's okay to ask for help, to lean on others when the weight of the world seems too heavy to bear alone. In therapy, John found a lifeline. It was a beacon of hope in the darkest of times, a guiding light leading him towards healing. It wasn't a quick fix, but it was a step, a leap in the right direction. And sometimes that's all we need, a leap of faith, a trust in the process, and the courage to seek help when we need it. Therapy was a lifeline for John, a beacon guiding him towards healing. It could be your lifeline too. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. You're not alone in this journey. Healing is a journey, not a destination. This is a mantra John came to understand deeply. The road to recovery is seldom a straight line. It often winds, dips, and rises, just like life itself. But with each step, John discovered more about himself and his resilience. The first step John took was to open up about his feelings. He realized that bottling up his emotions was like shaking a soda can. Eventually, it would burst open, spilling everywhere. So he started to express himself, first to himself in a journal, then to trusted friends and family members, and ultimately to his therapist. This wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Each conversation was a small victory, a release of the pressure building inside. Next, John set small, achievable goals for himself. The magnitude of his losses had made him feel overwhelmed and powerless. Setting and meeting these small goals helped John regain a sense of control over his life. He began with simple tasks like making his bed each morning or going for a short walk. These tasks might seem inconsequential, but they provided a sense of accomplishment that fueled John's confidence to take on bigger challenges. Then there was self-care. John learned that taking care of his body was just as important as taking care of his mind. He began to eat healthier, exercise regularly, and get enough sleep. These changes improved his energy levels and mood, providing the physical strength needed to combat his emotional struggles. Lastly, John practiced mindfulness. This involved being present in the moment, acknowledging his thoughts and feelings without judgment. Mindfulness helped him understand that it's okay not to be okay sometimes. It taught him to be patient with himself, to acknowledge his pain, but also to recognize his progress. John was on the road to recovery, one step at a time. It was a journey filled with challenges, but each challenge was a chance for growth, for learning, for healing. And with every step he took, John moved closer to a happier, healthier version of himself. John's story didn't end in despair. Quite the opposite, in fact. John discovered a strength within himself that he never knew he possessed. a strength that was fortified by his faith in the professional help he sought. He delved into the depths of his being, and as he journeyed through the dark tunnel of his despair, he found a spark that ignited a flame of hope, resilience, and determination to rebuild his life. It wasn't an overnight transformation. John had his fair share of teary nights and despairing moments, but with each sunrise, he found himself a step further from the abyss of his past and a step closer to the beacon of his future. His faith became his anchor, the therapy his compass, guiding him through the stormy seas of his struggles. John began to see opportunities where he once saw dead ends. He found a new job, one that he enjoyed, and gave him a sense of purpose. He began to regain his financial stability, bit by bit, day by day. But John didn't stop there. He knew that he was not unique in his struggle, that there were others out there, battling their own demons, feeling lost and alone. So John reached out. He used his experience, his journey from despair to hope, to help others navigate through their own struggles. He became a beacon for those lost in the storm, showing them that it is possible to find a way out, to find a new beginning. John's story is not just a tale of overcoming adversity. It is a story of strength, resilience, and the power of faith and professional help. It is a story of transformation, of a man who fell into the pit of despair only to rise like a phoenix, stronger and more determined. John's story is a testament to resilience and hope, a reminder that no matter how dark the night, the dawn always follows, and in that dawn, a new beginning awaits. You see, you are not alone on this journey. It's important to keep in mind that feeling isolated or singled out in your hardship is a common experience when dealing with depression or grief. But the truth is, you're not alone. There are millions of people around the world who have been or are currently in the same shoes you're in. Depression and grief can make you feel like you're navigating through a dense, dark forest with no path in sight. But remember, even in the darkest of forests, there are always rays of sunlight that find their way through the canopy. These rays of light are the people, resources, and organizations ready and willing to help you through your journey. It's crucial to understand that seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but rather a strength. It takes courage to acknowledge your feelings and reach out to others, whether it be a trusted friend, family member, therapist, or spiritual guide. Talking about what you're going through can alleviate some of the weight you're carrying. Spiritual guidance can also be a beacon of light in these trying times. Many find solace in their faith and the teachings of Jesus Christ. His message of love, compassion, and understanding can provide a strong foundation for healing and recovery. But remember, it's also okay to seek professional help. Therapists and counselors are trained to help you navigate your feelings and equip you with the tools to manage your mental health. There are numerous organizations and hotlines available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that provide immediate assistance and support. Don't hesitate to reach out to them. They are there specifically to help people like you. In times of adversity, human connection becomes even more vital. Sharing your burden doesn't make it less yours, but it does make it lighter. You don't have to carry this weight all by yourself. Remember, you don't have to face this alone. There are hands ready to help you. Every cloud has a silver lining. Remember that. We've journeyed through the storm, the darkness, and the struggle. We've met John, witnessed his turning point, and traveled with him on the road to recovery. We've seen how seeking professional help and turning to faith in Jesus Christ can bring light into the darkest corners. Each of these steps, each moment was crucial in John's journey. But remember, everyone's path is unique. Your road to healing might look different, and that's perfectly okay. The key is to keep moving, keep seeking, keep believing. Remember, resilience is not about never falling, it's about getting back up again and again. It's about finding hope in the midst of adversity and strength in the face of despair. It's about discovering your own silver lining, your own path to healing and recovery. Just like John, you too can find the strength to weather the storm. Your silver lining is waiting,